We got ourselves team 2 together with Guard. I'm gonna call you Guard. I'm not really sure what to call you, but it's gonna be Jayhawk first up over for the team 1 as the Arcane Master Blaster. Got himself a little bit of a balding head, but I like the monocle looking thing. I like the goggle of choice. We got ourselves Shifts over in the back team. We got ourselves Coffee Boy as double Boomkin actually. We got ourselves Atlanta as a monk as well as Forkbeard coming back in. It's gonna be Polly immediately as Jayhawk trying to go for a bit of an arcade surge opener as Guard charging out as a Fury Warrior, trying to go for an interrupt, doesn't quite connect. It's gonna be Reflect, trying to see if he can reflect some damage, but it's gonna be Jayhawk massive damage, unleashing the full power of the Arcane. Big touch of the Magi, that's a lot to build up. Guard trying to see if he can just survive this, but I think the man is just dead. It's just a matter of time. Big touch of the before the touch of the Magi even erupted, just a barrage capping him out, taking him out of the game with Yesley. Gonna be up next as a Night Elf Warlock. First time seeing this one in the 5v5 duels, let alone solos actually is more common than anything, but like it's a good combo. That Night Elf shot him out to be able to juke an ability. It is actually kind of good. Gonna be a Mortal and Zessa trying to see if he can barrage him. Full army of the demons, just absolutely savage, and Jayhawk unable to really survive the onslaught. Trying to see if he can just cool off the big old tyrant. Double Felguard charging after him. Oh, actually, it's like a big Felguard and Wrathguard and a small Wrathguard. It's like a son and a dad hanging out together. Big Observer joining as well. Might be pretty bad for Yesley. Let's just try to see if we can deal with Jayhawk. What is this double Wrathguard you got going on? One of them must be like a glyph for a summon Felguard, but it's just a Wrathguard, right? I kind of want to do that too myself, honestly. Gonna be a big axe toss. Jayhawk trying to see if he can blink out of there. Gonna be Dreadstalkers is able to launch him in there with a Biofilm around the corner. Jayhawk is gonna have to find a way to deal with all of these minions attacking him from every angle. Trying to see if he can freeze him, but as long as he can deny the auto attack damage, just the baseline damage of these pets, the better spot he's gonna be in. As Yesley backs up out of there. I wish I had a better name for him, because I feel like when I say this in Russian, Yesley, it makes sense, but when you try to translate to like an English nickname, it doesn't roll off the tongue super well. Gonna be a big, or at least an attempt for a big power surge, as it's gonna be Yesley with a polymortical set 10 fear to follow. This is gonna be an intro by Jayhawk, but it's gonna be that line of sight for Yesley using his environment to his advantage. Gonna be a quick breath, gonna breathing on a little bit of that team. As Jayhawk trying to see if he can go for big damage himself. Fear to follow as Yesley just trying to see if he can control Jayhawk, reduce some of the damage, dampen some of the harm he's putting in, but also summon up an army of his own. Trying to see if he can go counter active. That's going to be a mad tyrant blasted out Jayhawk, maybe in a very bad spot. Oh, that's just a lot of damage altogether. That tyrant was chipping away at your health, just absolutely cracking right through it. With Forkbeard going to be up next. Yesley, the Warlock has been able to survive this fairly well, and is going to be able to go for an axe toss, trying to see if he can reposition Ford immediately, trying to see if he can bait Forkbeard out in the open. Again, just like with the mage, he just needs to get the pets out onto Forkbeard and establish control as best he can. Axe toss as Forkbeard, trying to see if he can catch up a little bit of healing, but you're denying a lot of it with the axe toss as well as a Mortal. Forkbeard, a lot of his self-healing and self-recovery just denied. He can maybe hang back here with double Wrathguard, but it will eventually, these pets are going to be able to crack through his defenses. He's gonna have to make a play right now. I think he's got to leap in, got himself a shield. That's gonna be a Spore Cloak, so even defensively, he doesn't even have much emergency healing really going on. So for Yesley right now, they're in a perfect spot. There isn't really an opportunity for you to make a mistake. You could have yourself a clean run, save a lot of your cooldowns for the next competitor as well. Forkbeard trying to see if he can go for a bit of a charge. Gonna be a Stormbolt to Yesley with an axe toss reversal back right after. Got himself plenty of slows. Position himself so he could always port away from the warrior if ever necessary. Just try and take the very minimum damage from him. It's a couple of Shadow Bolts. Fear, Mortical Scented. Trinketing that Fear may have actually been a weird play because you're going up against Grifka. No, you're not. You're going up against Coffee Boy Atlante or Shifters. If one of them gets a lockdown on you for the stun, that could be a bad situation, as Forkbeard just doesn't have much left. He could last out there for quite a while, but with a Warlock chipping away at him with all the demons while bailing away, he's just making sure that none of them really get him into a bad position whatsoever. Cover Boy juking away from the stun. Full burst onto Yesley with a rude silence. It's going to be Axe Toss, Drake, and Bash to follow. Just try to keep Yesley in that Soul Beam as best as possible. Trying to see if he could cook ourselves up a big old full moon. Can he summon up literally the galaxies themselves? Going to be a big Dark Glare. Kind of want to keep the Coffee Boy out next to Dark Glare, but with all this cast over Druid, you really don't want to casting. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. You want to insta-cast so you can like have an observer zapping him away, punishing the guy. But also, you don't want to be taking those insta-casts to the face back-to-back. Kavi not in a great spot. It is a dampening game right now, with the 22% dampening building up a little bit, plus on top of it, whatever dampening that the Wrathguard is applying. So for Kavi, he might have to rotate his defensives a little bit earlier as he's getting surrounded. Vile Fiend, Tyrant swinging around the corner, trying to see if he can clone it. Does get to, but it's still barrages. All these pets are empowered by the Tyrant just in the mere presence of that big beast. And yesterday, trying to see if he can back up out of it. Doesn't have the healing over Druid, but is gonna war down those Hellstones, put him on cooldown bit by bit, trying to keep away from the Druid as best as he can, letting the pet just keep harassing him over there as best as possible. Kavi Boy should have himself, I think, of half moon into a full moon prep, and he might be able to go for double full moon if he could just find himself an angle. But still, health-wise, not doing great. Trying to see if he can maybe cover some distance. Gonna be even more pets joining in as another Axos comes out, just cannot even really make his way across over to Yesti, but he's trying to do the best he can. Mortal as he pushes him. Gonna be Dark Glare again on the opposite side, still able to like start casting at him. So Kavi Boy can only approach from one angle, really. Just trying to see if he can find himself some survivability. Next, Astos could be actually really deadly. I think at some point, gonna have to go for a big silence. Charging out towards Yesi. Bash to follow, does force a trick out of him. That's gonna be a potentially a root with a root together with a solar beam, but doesn't quite connect. That forward gives him plenty of mobility. I think for Kavi Boy, eventually, if you don't push in, if you don't make a fast enough play, the Warlock wins. And I feel like that's just how it is, right? The game, you're running out of time. Eventually, the Warlock is just going to win this one. Unless you got stealth to keep you in cover like what Drifka has and what most rogues do. You're just going to lose against the army of the demons with the dampening slowly building up, hampering all of you, healing little by little. Big Tyrant join in. That's where you want to swap out your cycle. But that's where the Warlock can just push in, pressure you with the Tyrant. Tyrant not attacking you. What is going on? This Tyrant is charging after you. Is he going to melee you? Is he just trying to say hello? Give you a hug? Just watch you die? Was literally useless. But just his mere presence made all the other demons even more effective. Yes, with that Knight of Warlock absolutely putting in the work. Shifting's going to be up next, trying to maintain a little bit of range, dotting up all the pets and doing quite a bit of damage from distance. Is going to have to make a trek, and it's going to have to get some pressure onto Yesi. Cannot let the game go any longer than it has so far. Yesi just try to see if he can cover a little bit of health, using defenses really early on, but at least Dark Pack lasts for quite a while, so maybe he can still get some value out of it. Shift is trying to see if he can find himself a breakaway. Bash, silence to follow, trinket out of the axe toss right after. Wants to go in for big damage. Does he get to Mortal Fear to follow? Man, actually just getting controlled entirely. Did not use any offensive cooldowns just yet, so there still is a chance that he could make a comeback. Barskin used up pretty early on. Definitely want to use it as early as possible, just because it's such a short cooldown and it's fairly effective. Gonna be dropping down the Dark Glare, so if you push in, are you trying to get your cast off? The Dark Glare can punish your aggression. Yes, they trying to see if he can go for a bit of a gateway. Shift is trying to see if he can find himself a much better angle, but also trying to be very careful with a Dark Glare. Trying not to cast while out in the open as best as he can. Yes, with a Dark Pack, also using it pretty aggressively, just like you should use it with the Barskin. Access around the corner. Shift is trying to go for a couple insta casts, not going for big damage just yet. Access right after Tyrant to follow him. Now you might actually be panic situation. Honestly, if you can just root those pets away from you and attack, yes, you'd be great spot, but Mortal is locking you out completely. Tyrant blasting you out in the back. I think it's just over. My goodness, this man so far has just been able to walk in, and so far the Warlock is just dominating right now. With Atlanti, last one left. It's a monk, not a lot of survivability available. Monks generally are known for healing and mobility. You either dip out to get yourself some heals, or you stay in and go for quite a bit of burst. I don't know how much of that you can really do here, just because dampening is super high. You have to play into the offensive play here. Gonna be Axos. That's gonna force a trick out of him. Wall, fear for Yesi. If you can just lock down and shut down this go by Atlanti, and as long as he can deal with the Zoan as well, he is going to be golden. He just needs to buy himself time. Eventually, Atlantis is just running against the clock. And yes, he's a ticking bomb with this army of demons coalescing. The longer you wait, the more demons you're going to get. Fist of Fury trying to go for a fear, but also trying to get interrupted. Wait, maybe Atlantis turns around. Karma to follow. Yes, I think might go down. Oh, Atlantis does end up turning with a Karma. Does get himself enough damage. This is where the Warlock just needed to just buy more time. Send up a gateway, but I don't think he was able to take it just yet. With Russian Pepsi, last one left as Dwarf, Shaman, a Dwarf Monk, Lexip to follow. I think it's over, right? There's no way for Legend to turn this around. Oh, no, he does get himself an opportunity. Fort Brew for a second, got himself a heal. Oh, and it ports as the touch of death comes through. So I feel like when he ported, you know how monks like do a spirit transfer when they do the ports? I feel like he transferred his spirit, but the body was just left back there. That was great. All right, let's get this as another.